my name is Çaba Con Ksukas, Hungarian-American here from the Bay Area. I lived in a couple of different states, but Bay Area is home. I created a YouTube channel about maybe 6 to 8 months ago, around there, and I wanted to study certain topics in like linguistics, history, Middle Eastern, North African, Central Asian studies, Türkology basically. I don't speak Turkish, but I studied it a little bit. I speak Hungarian, which is actually very similar to Turkish that I found through my research, not through anything academic, but rather than amateur, kind of as a hobby. So these languages, Hungarian, Turkish, Azerbaijani, just for example, they share certain similarities in grammatical concepts. Like they each lack grammatical gender. They all have vowel harmony. They all are agglutinating languages. The grammar of the languages is essentially the same, except the word order might be a little bit different. The sounds are different, essentially, to very simply state it. But if you say things in like Turkish, Azerbaijani, or Hungarian, for a speaker of one or the other languages, they could pick up on things. They could pick up on like possession, maybe even the verb or the nouns that are being used. Many nouns are similar. For example, like in the video I created, there's a phrase that says, "In my pocket there are many small apples." So in Hungarian we say, "Zsebembe sok kicsi alma van," which I found out studying Turkish a little bit. It's "Cebimde çoklu küçük alma var." And then in Azerbaijani, if memory serves me correct, "Cebimde çoklu almalar var," or alma var. So I thought this was very interesting to see that the way the nouns, the adjectives, and the verbs line up, and like they're almost like 70% the same sentence, just this sample sentence. Of course, not all sentences among the three languages are like that, but to find one that was like that was very interesting to me, and makes me want to like learn this more in depth. And for example, the word sakal in Hungarian, we say sakal for beard, which I think is in Azerbaijani is very similar. So many folks think that the Hungarian borrowings potentially, or that the Hungarian is influenced by the 147 years of which the Ottomans were in Hungary. But that's really not entirely true or correct, because the Hungarians, while they are classified in the Finn-Ugric language family or branch, or the Uralic branch of the Ural-Altaic family, they are from a region somewhere in east of the Ural Sea that has historically interacted with many Turkic peoples. So either there is a common language to Hungarian and the Turkic languages, or there is a cross-pollination for mutual close contact for many centuries. And that mostly happened in the Otyl or Volga River Valley in modern-day Russia, where you have Finnic and Turkic people living next to each other, like Udmurt people and Tatar people, Mari people and Chuvash people, for example, who live like essentially in each other's villages and towns, and they have their own autonomous regions, okrugs or whatever they're called in Russian. So that Hungarian is more influenced by Turkish or Turkic languages than, say, Estonian or Finnish. That those two languages also share something with the Turkic languages, but Hungarian comes from like that area, and this predates the Ottomans by many centuries, even millennia potentially. So my parents were essentially political dissidents back in Hungary. They had some issues with the current or at that time communist leadership of the country. Hungary was a communist occupied country, Soviet occupied country, for about 5 decades. My parents were not very much approving of this, and their lives and the lives of the family members was really, and many oftentimes cut short or really just ruined. Financial destitution, murder, disappearances, all these things, silencing people. So my parents immigrated to Turkey as political refugees on the pretext of a vacation. They went to former Yugoslavia, Bulgaria, and then Turkey, and they didn't go to the consulate of America or Canada or something when they went to Turkey. They immediately at the border asked the Turkish border patrol or the military police or whatever, Like, yeah, we're here for the asylum. You know, like it was immediately like there, and then they received it. So they were in Kadıköy, I want to say, for 3 months in a refugee camp. And there were other people there too. Many East Germans, many Poles, many Ukrainians, Kazakhs, Afghans also, because the Soviet Union had invaded Afghanistan a few months prior to my parents leaving Hungary, which I want to say it was, my parents left Hungary in early or mid 1980. And the Soviet Union invaded Afghanistan in late 1979, Christmas Day 1979, if I'm not mistaken. So my parents lived in Turkey for that reason. They learned that Turkish is very similar to Hungarian, just like listening to it. For example, like possession, like they'll say things like my car, like arabam. In Hungarian we say autom or koçim. So the vowel and then the m, the im. That was like, we say that, like they say that, we say it, you know, that kind of thing. So they were there, and eventually they came to America because it was the Cold War. And they didn't want to be so close to where they had come from. So America was the destination here in San Mateo County, because there was already like a Hungarian community here. This was like the land of opportunity or whatever. So they came here for that reason, and me growing up in the United States, I was born 4 years after my parents came to the United States in 1984. They endowed me with a certain interest in the Turkish world, or Turkic-speaking countries, because of all the countries in the world, they have a language or languages similar to us. You know, like, yeah, the Finnish and Estonian are somewhat similar also, but when we speak or they speak, we don't understand each other the same way, or we don't pick up similarities so easily. Because if I hear a Turkish person speaking, I could think, oh, okay, that's Turkish. Okay, you're referring to your coffee or something, you know? Like there's that kind of example. Yeah, so I've been to Turkey 3 times. Twice I've been there as a trip. The third time I was there on a layaway, and it was really just quick in and out. I had breakfast kind of thing with some friends. But the first time I was there in 2010, it was amazing. I went to Blue Mosque, I went to Hagia Sophia, I went to a bazaar, and my parents told me that their experience in the bazaar was that everybody speaks everybody's language. And if they can't find your language, they'll find someone who will speak your language. And I tested this out. Like I was saying, like, you know, I was like going to the shop, looking at rugs and tile work and all kinds of cool things. And somebody asked me, where am I from? I was like, I'm from America, but I'm from Hungarian American. Or my parents are from Hungary. I was like, oh, you speak Hungarian? And they was like, okay, Jamal, come here. Yeah, like, yeah. The guy was speaking Hungarian to me, you know.